Hello, Regional School District 13. I'm very proud to present to you today an overview of our purpose, vision, and planning documents that we've been working on all year. I'm going to take you through a quick overview of the documents through a few slides. And just to let you know in advance, all of this information is on the strategic planning webpage on our district website. And there are links where you can dive a little deeper into the documents to learn more. In addition, on that page, we also have a link to a Google form where you can provide feedback. So these are draft plans at this stage, and we're interested to hear what you think, and the board would like to know what your thoughts are before they finalize these and adopt them over the summer. So let me walk you through our process here. All right. So this is our purpose, vision, and plan document, and here's the overview. We want to start by telling you a little bit about our process. Over the year, we did multiple focus groups with all constituents, students, parents, guardians, staff members, business people in our communities, community members, et cetera. And so we got a lot of feedback through there. We also sent out a survey in the fall and had just shy of 400 responses. And so we've gotten a lot of input on all of this work. It was really important going through this process that we honored prior work that people had done. So there were several iterations of this in the past, and if something was consistent in all of those previous versions, we kept it because it's obviously important to our work. We did research on the best practices in creating a vision of a graduate and a strategic plan. We then dove in and analyzed and evaluated all of the data. After that, I did final follow-up meetings at each school so we could really start to fine-tune where we were going and what issues were rising to the top. And then finally, our amazing leadership team took on the task of organizing, doing a final review, and putting all of the puzzle pieces together, which resulted in what you're going to see today. So the main components that you're going to be reviewing are the mission, which actually hasn't changed. The mission has stayed the same, but think of the mission as our North Star. This is our purpose. This is why we exist and what we want to do. The visions, and we have two of them. We have a vision of a graduate and a vision of instruction. Those are our compass to help us guide all of our direction. And then the strategic plan, which is quite literally our roadmap to get there over the next 5 years. The mission is through engagement in authentic learning experiences, all Regional School District 13 students are empowered to thrive and contribute as global citizens. Again, that wasn't changed. That's been the mission for a while in Region 13. A vision of a graduate, there are two things that we really want you to know. A lot of times you'll hear this referred to as a portrait of a graduate. We got some feedback that a portrait really seems kind of static. It's just still and hanging on the wall maybe. A vision really is something that we're always striving towards. It's something that we're always seeking and always trying to achieve. So that's why we went with vision instead of portrait. The second thing that I want you to know is that there have been some thoughts that the vision of a graduate is something that builds up over the whole school career of a student and that they've achieved the vision when they graduate or when they finish their transition program. That's not the case. So in our vision of a graduate, everything that you see in it is an expectation from preschool all the way through graduation and transition. And so a quick definition of a vision of a graduate is that it is our promise to students, families, and the community about the knowledge, skills, and attributes each student will develop. And then the vision of instruction complements that. And that is our commitment as educators to provide the learning experiences that make that promise possible. So we are committing ourselves to providing all of the learning experiences to make the vision of a graduate a reality at every grade level and in every content area. This is the visual that came from this. So the tree is a perfect metaphor for us. The roots are our core ethical values. They're the foundation of everything that we do in Region 13. When you get into the trunk area here, this is where we combine essential attributes, which is who students are, how they show up, who we expect them to be. And then we combine that with durable skills, which are lasting things that students will know and be able to do. So when you combine those essential attributes and durable skills, kind of like a math equation, you wind up with these 5 core competencies that are our vision of a graduate. And these 5 things are what we expect students to be and know and do. So the sun is the vision of instruction, which is shining down on the tree to grow. And our commitment to vision of instruction is that we will provide learning experiences that are rigorous, authentic, responsive, inclusive, and coherent. And then the 5 core competencies that we expect all students to achieve at every level. And I'll go to the next page to do those. But before I leave this, this is obviously an AI image. We can't copyright AI images. So once we revise this and it's approved, we'll actually have a different graphic to convey these things. But this is our draft starting place. The 5 core competencies that every student will be striving towards are becoming a growth-oriented learner. This one came across in all of the focus groups and survey data more than any other. And that is a growth-oriented learner who will embrace productive struggle and increasing complexity with curiosity and resilience, mastering the art of learning how to learn to sustain lifelong growth. They will be an innovative solution seeker to navigate complex challenges by applying creativity, critical thinking, and a discerning eye to develop effective original solutions. A responsive and self-directed navigator. They will act as an agile, future-ready agent of their own life, dynamically adapting to change and taking purposeful ownership of their personal and professional path. A conscientious community champion, fostering a sense of belonging and equity within local, state, national, and global communities through respectful advocacy for themselves and others. And a purposeful communicator and collaborator, engaging in meaningful exchange by seeking to understand diverse perspectives, advocating for ideas with clarity, and building bridges through respectful cooperation. This is our vision of a graduate, and you will see these things taking shape in pre-K, second grade, middle school, all the way up through high school, and MTA. At every level, these are the 5 core competencies that we'll be working towards. Moving on to the strategic plan, you'll see 4 main pillars of the strategic plan up here. These 4 will be constant. They'll be stable. And for example, when we have another strategic plan that we're creating 5 years from now, you will still see a goal area for climate and culture, one for community connections, one's for student achievement, and one for resources. The 2 below are more rotating. They will probably not extend beyond the life of this strategic plan, not as full categories anyway. One of them that came through in all of the feedback was that we need to look at high school pathways more. That's something that the state is really emphasizing so that high school still prepares students for college, but that there are a lot of other opportunities in high school in terms of pathways where students can leave high school with an associate's degree, with a certificate, where they can really be ready to start work in an area that they're interested in. So we want to explore pathways more as a goal area. And also transition is a goal area, and this one is going to focus on making a very smooth transition and first year start to Three Oaks Memorial School. So since that's a big thing going on in the district, that it has its own goal category. Our philosophy of planning for strategic plan was to think big. We want to have high aspirations for all of our students, but we also believe that acting small is what gets there. It's the small, very careful, calculated, intentional steps that will make those aspirations come true. And we also want to learn fast. So we want to regularly do progress monitoring to see if our objectives and goals are being met. And if they're not, we need to change direction and figure out what else we need to do. So our philosophy has been to think big, act small, and learn fast. You'll be able to look at the strategic plan in full on the website, but I wanted to just give you a quick tour of it because you'll want to pay attention to the tabs at the bottom of the page. So if you click on the link on the web page, look at the tabs down here, you'll see the goals. So you'll be able to see the goals for each of those areas that we talked about. If you go to the next tab, there's a master list, which has all of the goals, and it includes objectives, which is where we get into more, some finer detail. And then we have potential action steps that might take place. So while we were getting feedback from the community, we had a lot of great ideas about action steps. We just wanted to capture those so they become possibilities, and we put those in there as potential action steps. You'll see the year that we expect something to take place and be our focus for each of the 5 years coming up. You'll see an administrator who is the point person in that objective, what teachers are involved, what support staff is involved, and what special services are involved. We did this because we wanted to set ourselves up for success. We did it so that there's no one group or school or team or individual who is overburdened in any particular year. So by doing this, we could sort it so that each year we know that everybody has manageable work to do, and so that we can move forward that way. You can also go to the tab and you can search by year, so you can see what year everything is going to take place in. And then we have a list of annual goals. These are not technically by year because these are bigger goals where we're going to take those small steps. So every year we will do one small step towards achieving all of these goals that are in the annual tab. And a lot of these in the annual are things that we would be working on anyway. So we just want to make sure that we pay attention to them and that we intentionally move forward in one small way each year so that we keep making progress. For the bigger goals and objectives, you can go by year. So you can see each year, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, et cetera. Or you can go further over here into the tabs and you can see all of the climate culture goals in one place. Everything for student achievement. You can look at the pathways or the transition ones on your own. So there's a lot of different ways to dive into this and to sort. And so you can really, hopefully, enjoy looking around. And we hope that you will, after you take a look, take a minute to open up that Google form and give us some feedback so the board knows anything that you like, anything that you think might be a concern or might need changing or revision. And they will take all of that feedback in and then finalize these visions and the strategic plan over the summer. Again, we have worked really hard on this year, and we're very proud to present it to you. So we look forward to hearing what you think. Thank you very much, and have a good summer. Bye.